We'll start with on your trip to China. What benefits to Carmel did this trip bring?
I think it's important to recognize that roughly 10% of Carmel's population consists of people who have moved here from China and their families, um, including children that were born in China and some children that were born here, and to go to their country of origin to better understand where they're coming from is very helpful to me as mayor. In addition, one out of every five people on Earth is Chinese. And it's important that we understand, even if we don't like their system of government, it's important that we understand their values, their economy, so that we work together and start having discussions and find areas of mutual interest. And I think the contact between people that believe in free speech and free religion with people in China is a good thing, because they see that there is a different way of doing things than the way you're doing it today. And just as 50 years ago, thinking that China would have this huge move towards capitalism was unthinkable. I think in the future it's very likely that they will start to very seriously consider items that we take for granted in our Bill of Rights, such as freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Hopefully we can have some influence on that change in thinking that I believe is inevitable over time in China.
Okay, what would you say the top three things you learned during this trip?
First of all, I thought that I'd still see rickshaws and a lot of poverty in China. And well, you saw some poverty like you see in any country. I was amazed at the amount of money going into infrastructure and how important that is as you design a new city. We went to one city that, of course, was a 40,000 person fishing village 40 years ago, and today has over 20 millions of people living in it. But that city was so well planned and beautiful, with trees and greenery and public sculpture and subways and buses and ferries, beautiful highways, public art. And of course, it's easier to do those things in a dictatorial government because there's no public input, and there's no really opportunity to say I don't like what's going on, except through the official channels. And so it's a very efficient system. I think they can only go so far with that system, but to see the amount of money they're putting into infrastructure is important for an American, especially for an American elected official. We need to be doing the same thing if we're going to compete.
Very good. And finally, as a group that led this tour, what should they consider doing differently next time?
I think the substantive parts of the tour were wonderful. I would like to see more opportunities for contact with the average Chinese person. And I'd like to see a little bit of downtime. We were so tired by the end of the tour without any chance to even go shop for souvenirs during the daytime, that everyone was exhausted. And I think having, mayors are able to get away and fly 15 hours nonstop to Beijing as I did from Chicago, they can add a couple days on either end of the trip, and it can be a little longer. It doesn't have to be condensed into 5 days. But those two things, not quite as busy, with a bit of downtime, opportunities to stay later or go early to learn more about the country on your own personal time, and I think thirdly, more contact with ordinary Chinese citizens.
And then we'll just toss in a quick one at the end, just summing everything up. What's your overall feeling about the experience?
I was going to China for the first time as mayor of the city of Carmel was a tremendous experience. I got to know the other mayors on the trip very well. But we also helped us, re-examine our values as Americans when we saw a country where negative TV interviews were censored and cut off the Western channels just as they began. But to see the energy and the vitality of the people of this country and their work ethic was also very valuable. As both our national governments struggle to get along, I think it's important that these subnational conversations take place and continue to take place. people of the United States and the people of China continue. This is what will prevent